to get the best of me. Well, don't you think I would see impossibilities to get my name in them lights would be so out of sight. How blues folks knocking at my door day and night, trying to get over, trying to get over. I'm just trying to get over. I'm trying, yes I am. I hope you can see.
Welcome to the Politicrat. I'm Omar Moore. It is Wednesday, July the 22nd, 2020. On this episode of the Politicrat, a conversation with the musician, singer, songwriter, activist, Lady A, and John Oliver III, her Seattle music producer. Next. Well, I must say to everybody, I have the great honor to, on this episode of the Politicrat podcast, introduce to you two great people. I want to introduce to you the hardest working woman in the blues, the wonderful, original, the one and only, the original Lady A, and her Seattle music producer, John Oliver III. Welcome, both of you, to this edition of the Politicrat podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Well, I must say, I did say the original Lady A, and I maintain the one and only, but that is not quite right, is it now, Lady A? Can you talk about what is going on? People are trying to steal your identity or have done so. Can you get into that with the audience so we can, some of the listeners who may not be familiar with this?
Right. Well, I've been around for a while, and I've built my career on being Lady A from my karaoke days back in the 80s. Don't tell anybody. But back in the 80s, I was doing karaoke, and from there, a Motown review. And I've always gone by Lady A, just because I wasn't really all that confident when I was a singer back then, because growing up as a gospel singer, I pretty much had my back to the audience because I was the choir director. So I never had to sing in front of people. But when I started singing, I was a background singer in the Motown, Sonny Byers' Motown review, and doing karaoke, with Sonny Byers. And so I just went by Lady A, and it was kind of like my alter ego. My other personality. And it kind of stuck. And then Louise Thompson in Seattle, God rest her soul, we used to do karaoke at Thompson's Point of View in Seattle. And she asked me to sing. She said, you should get a band. We have bands come through all the time. I was like, I sing with a band, but I don't really have a band. Sing with several bands back then, as a matter of fact. And so I asked the guys that were playing with me at that time, and I named them the Baby Blues Funk Band. So we were Lady A and the Baby Blues Funk Band. And we played a lot of blues and funk and soul, more funk and R&B with the blues sprinkled in.
Oh.
It was the dance party, it was the 90s. So it just kind of stuck, and then with the encouragement of now producer John Oliver, my best friend and my little brother, and our friend Gary Smith, who has passed away since, he's been our bass player. They encouraged me to do my own CD, that I should be out front. I was out front, but they wanted me to do the solo career.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2009, we started putting together Blues in the Key of Me, which was my first solo CD. The other CD, which came out in 2006, we don't really talk about that one.
Uh-oh.
That was one of them. But I'm proud of all of my CDs. And anyway, that's when my solo career took off. It was 2009, we started writing music. 2010, we produced Blues in the Key of Me.
Wow.
From there, then CD after CD.
Oh, wow. Wow. And that was the album that propelled you.
That was the album that propelled me. The Blues in the Key of Me was up for a Blues Music Award. After that was How Did I Get Here? We wrote that in Europe. John and I, didn't really consider myself a songwriter, but they kept saying, "Oh, write stuff down." And then from there, we had our friend Dexter Allen from Jackson, Mississippi, who's our other producer. We went into Love, Lust, and Blues. From there, we're doing fine. Am I missing one? Hard to keep up. That's why I have John with me. Great. We're doing fine, and then now we have Lady A live in New Orleans, which we recorded last year in New Orleans, Louisiana, which was really cool. This whole thing with Lady Antebellum, that's on them, really. I can't take any more on my shoulders. They put out this statement that their eyes were opened and their hearts were stirred with conviction over the George Floyd murder, and they wanted to support Black Lives Matter. But Omar, for me, I am an activist as well as a vocalist, and I've been an activist and community leader for many, many years. It's not something I just started. They said that Black Lives Matter. I didn't say it. They put out that their hearts were stirred. Hearts were stirred and convicted, and that their eyes were opened to the injustices and inequalities of Black people. But you can't be Lady Antebellum and go from Lady Antebellum to Lady A if your name still has the racist connotation. That's like the Ku Klux Klan going to the KKK and saying we're no longer racist. I'm just going to be honest. I don't have time to tiptoe around people's feelings anymore. Let's just be honest. Don't insult our intelligence. Don't, either you're an ally or you aren't. Simple
Right.
as that. And that's where my controversy with them comes in. They wanted to coexist. I wanted to know what coexistence looked like, and what privilege does is allow you to dismiss me. They never answered our questions. We even tried to get along. You saw this Zoom picture of us together. We gave them suggestions. John, why don't you tell them some of the suggestions we gave them?
Yes. One of the suggestions that I recall mentioning is that Lady Antebellum is like, to me, two sides. There's Lady Antebellum, the corporation, and then there's Lady Antebellum, the artist. So what I suggested is that Lady Antebellum bring Lady A in with all of their resources, right? So basically take her under their record label or their management so that they could help oversee the rest of her career, right? And so if they have this idea about coexisting, they could help her career, and she in turn could help them. So they can work together as artists, right? Because Lady Antebellum has sold over 10 million albums, right? So when we went to the table with them, listen, Lady A was open to discuss how coexisting would look. The first thing she said was, though, I want to keep my name, right? And so they said, oh, well, we're going to work it out. So we said, okay, we're open to hear what they have to say, but they never offered a solution on how this would work. Because, Omar, listen, we know Lady A apples cannot be in the same store with Lady A apples. Somebody's apples are not going to get bought.
Right.
So that was one of the suggestions we made. Also, Lady A suggested, listen, why don't you all be Lady A the band, and she will be Lady A the artist? So we brought up multiple on top of multiple solutions. And each time, we heard crickets. We heard absolutely nothing, right?
Wow.
They didn't address us at all. It was as if we hadn't said a word. They would go on to something else. This was both with the lawyers, the talk with the lawyers, and the talks with the artists. And Omar, Omar, I say everything in threes because I like to make sure that people understand. So I said, well, what does coexistence look like? Because I'm thinking to myself, I'm thinking as a businesswoman, as soon as you put something out as Lady A, you're going to wipe me off of social media,
Right.
off of iTunes, Amazon, and Spotify. Because I always knew they were there. It was Lady Antebellum and it was Lady A. Always. I always knew they were there. I had no idea that their fans called them Lady A. Why would I? You're putting out CDs as Lady Antebellum. You haven't put out any CDs as Lady A. So there was never a problem. There would never be a problem. And then you say, let's coexist. What does that look like? What does coexistence look like? For the people in the back that can't hear me, what does coexistence look like? We asked that question with the lawyers and with the artists. And my little spidey senses start to go up when people aren't forthcoming when you're asking a question. Because now I'm thinking, well, wow, are you seriously just going to dismiss me like I didn't just say something? And that's how I started to feel. And they really wanted to do this Zoom call. They really wanted to get something out into the press. And I know why they wanted to do it. I and I understood it. And I was willing to try, but you got to meet me halfway. And they, like John said, they never offered in the contracts that they sent back. It said, we'll do our best efforts to make sure it's clear. Okay, I mean, you're laughing. Even you're laughing. It's like, okay, so my question, what does best efforts mean?
Right.
For the people in the back, what does best efforts mean? Nothing. Nobody answered a question. They didn't address us. At least address me and say, Omar, you asked me a question, and then I go, well, you know what, we're going to get back to that. They never even said that. They just kept sitting, and then the second contract came back the same way. We'll do our best efforts. So finally I was like, you know what, this has no substance. The agreements have no substance. You're only looking out for Lady Antebellum.
Right.
So Lady A is going to look out for Lady A. You want to coexist and you want to say that we can share this name when I know that is not possible. No, it's possible in your world because you'll wipe me off social media. You don't really care what happens to me. Yet you said Black Lives Matter.
That is...
Remember, I didn't say that. They
Right.
said that.
Right. Well, obviously it sounds to me as if they were disingenuous from the very start. They erased you or tried to erase you at least twice. Once by using your name. Secondly, by absolutely, when it came to you negotiating with them, not saying anything, as you point out. I mean, it seems like they tried to erase you twice. Once by using your name, and secondly, by not listening to you or offering anything in the negotiation stage.
And and you're right, they were disingenuous because the entire time that they were texting and, the phone calls and all that kind of thing. Because why would a $41 million company call an independent artist?
Right.
Because you dangled this carrot in front of our nose that said, look, let's do a song together. Then we'll, we can document it and show everybody how we're gonna kumbaya. That song didn't impress me. I got songs of my own. I don't need to do a song with you. I was willing to try, but I'm not signing nothing and I'm not singing anything until I know what coexistence looks like. Because you thought that I was excited because you wanted to do a song together. All you wanted to do is what most white people do, which is have us come sing and dance for you, make it seem like we're all getting along, and then when you're done with me, I'm wiped off of social media, and you're done with me. Because you'll be like, well, we tried to help you. Tried to help me do what? I was fine before you came along. Yes, I thank God. I am forever truly thankful. The Lord knows I am. For the new fans, for the people who are supporting us, for the wonderful emails. I'm even thankful for you haters out there because y'all need a job. I'm even thankful for y'all. But that's not what propels me. That's not what encourages me. I like to help people. I like to bring people together. And I know malarkey when I see it. And I saw that in them. Because the entire time that they were sending these contracts back and forth, they were already slowly wiping me off social media. And then what they did was they knew I had a single coming out because I told them. I had a single coming out on June 27th. I talked to Hillary about, like I said, I'm an activist. I have what's called The Truth is Loud. Conversations, white allies, how to be a white ally in 2020 and beyond. These are conversations with Black, Indigenous people of this land and people of color, along with white people, a majority of white people from across the country and Europe that come in on these Zoom calls. We have conversations about race because white people don't talk to their kids about race. Black people grow up. From the time we get ready to go to school, our parents are telling us how to act, how to wear our hair, how to act around the police, how to act when we're in school, to assimilate, because we are supposed to assimilate into their culture. And so that's what these conversations about. And you can find information at thetruthisloud.info. And Hillary said she wanted to be on that call, which was disingenuous. She apologized and she cried and she talked about God and the whole thing. But my question to her was, even the conversation that she and I had, I said, what does coexistence do? What's that going to look like? Because you can't tell me that you're not going to wipe me off of social media. We're going to make it work, Miss Anita. I promise it's going to be okay. You're still not telling me how that's going to be okay.
To this day, you haven't been told.
To this day. They went so far as to, because, like I said, I want to get back to my life and to the conversations and the things that I do in the community. Back to John and I writing music, and, we can't get back to these things, because we're doing this. But, and I love you, Omar. Thank you so much for having us. But, they tried to make me look bad because I had the audacity to ask them for money to rebrand me when I asked you to do that in the first place. Because the thing is, if you're going to keep that name, I don't want to be associated with you. And we can't both be Lady A. That just is not going to work. You said that Black Lives Matter, Lady Antebellum. You said that your eyes were open. And I'm going to keep quoting what they said. Because stop insulting Black people and Indigenous people of this land and people of color. Stop insulting our intelligence. You said Black Lives Matter. So why are you taking my name? If Black Lives, and even if it was a totally different name, you said that Black Lives Matter, you're Lady Antebellum. Shortening it to Lady A is not a change from the racist connotation.
Right.
Lady A is still Lady Antebellum. My name is Anita. That's Lady A. I have it tattooed on my shoulder. It's my logo. It's my brand. I have 5 CDs under Lady A, 6 CDs under Lady A. You have one single that you just put out the week before mine.
Wow. This is what I have to ask that I just can't get my head around. Surely Lady Antebellum did a check for other names that could be either not aligned to, but could be said to be in a range of similarity. Obviously, antebellum means something very clear. We all know what antebellum means. I think we do, pre-Civil War. Yes. But
I didn't even think anything about it.
But I wonder if these folks, and I don't know if this came up in the negotiations, and I don't know if they'd even tell you this, but did these guys run a check to see about artists who had a name that could be shortened, or did they? I wonder if these folks even did that before they came up with their name. Surely somebody, some lawyer, or someone in trademarking or something looked at that. And I don't know if you can even answer that, because they would be the ones I should be asking this of. But wouldn't they? I just don't understand. It's very arrogant to me that they would do this to you, at the very least.
They saw me there. There's no way they didn't see me there. I always saw them. They saw me there. Rolling Stone magazine called me and said specifically, if I could find you, how come they didn't find me?
Right.
And it wasn't hard. I was always there.
Right. Right. And it's interesting.
This is what happens to us. People ignore us. You know, they ignore us.
It's that.
We're not relevant.
Yes, it's that, the classic Ralph Ellison Invisible Man. I mean, in this case, Invisible Woman. That's exactly what this is to me. I mean, this is a wholesale erasure. I wanted to ask you, in response to this, they're obviously taking you to court, I'm hearing. Is that accurate?
John, what did you answer those questions?
Well, Omar, the more that this discussion is great, because even though I've been there with Lady A since, June 11th, since all this happened, us talking about this out loud it's actually hurting my soul now to think that what they're doing at the core of it is completely racist, because it's a saying that we've kind of been saying in our discussions. They want to banish racism without quitting racism, right? And so they filed not necessarily a lawsuit, but they filed, an injunction against her in Nashville. Now, even this story that the whole world is hearing is something that should have never been made public, because we were having a private discussion, negotiations, and Lady A, listen, what people actually don't know is that, listen, Lady A was literally the only one bending over backwards to try to hear what they were going to say about coexisting. But Lady A from the beginning said, I don't want to share the name. She said it, I don't want to share the name. I built this brand for 30 plus years. I don't want to share the name. They said, no, it's going to work. We're going to coexist. Lady A said, how is that going to work? Silence. Lady A said, how's this going to work? They said, oh, here's a contract. Lady A said, I read the contract. I still don't understand how this is going to work. I need the details. They said, oh, it's going to work. We'll sing a song together. Here's a draft of a song, right? Lady A says, I don't know how this is going to work. I don't want to share the name, but we need to know how this is going to work. And so what happened is that because they weren't telling her the details, we decided to redline their agreement and let them know how this could work, right? Since they don't want to share the specifics, we're gonna fill in the details of how this could look, and so that's where that $10 million came in. It would be $5 million to help Lady A rebrand herself under a new name. Now that means that she has to start from scratch. Everything she's built for 30 years, she's got to basically start over, right? And then the other $5 million is going to go towards the 3 charities that she mentioned. Now, listen, Omar, this is something that the world should have never known, because these were private discussions, and we were meeting with them with integrity, right? Just like all of our people have always done. We met with them privately and personally, and then they just think they're going to shame her by letting the whole world know that she asked for $10 million. But they're leaving out the details. Now, Lady A, now that I'm saying that out loud, it's always been about the details. We just wanted the details, right? And so, because they didn't give us the details, they're going to create their own details, try to tell the whole world. She asked us for $10 million. You know what, Omar, if it had been up to me, it would have been a lot more than $10 million, right? But they filed their suit, and so right now, what we're waiting for is our team. We're waiting just to get a copy of what they filed so that we can dissect it. Because it seems like the whole world knows what they put in there, as far as like, they put in how many Spotify listeners Lady A supposedly has versus how many they have, right? Now, that, it's like this, and like Lady A said, this is a game to them. This is literally their privilege. They're trying to flex their muscles.
As if the number of it would be like if because they have 40,000 audience members, and I only have 4,000, that they're better than me somehow.
Right.
How can you say that? Put us on the same stage together. Did I say that out loud?
Yes, you did.
We'll same stage together. That's what I'm talking about. But I'm sorry. I'm tired today. I'm sorry. But no, I'm not sorry. They have 40,000. You know what? My 4,000 fans, my 400 fans, I don't don't care if I don't have but 4 fans. My people, my musical family, because I don't really call them fans, my musical family is important to me. Those people, I have people who have followed me from the 80s that still follow me today. If I give I produce my own shows and I invite other artists from other states to come, like Nelly Tiger Travis out of Chicago, Dexter Allen out of Jackson, Mississippi, Bobby Rush out of Mississippi. I've invited Terry O'Dotty. I've invited people to come to Seattle so Seattle audiences can see them. Because when I travel, I meet some amazing artists, some artists that, like me, that may not get seen. I go other places, and independent artists, and this is something a lot of people don't know, unless you're an independent artist. We spend our own money to go places, to be seen. When I go to the Blues Music Awards, nobody's paying my way. It costs me at least $4,000 to go to the Blues Music Awards. That's paying for the hotel for a week. That's paying for dresses that I need to wear because I need to look good. At every show that I go sing at, that's planning to do a tour when I go, because when the Blues Music Awards is over, you're there for 4 days, and then I always go to Clarksdale, Mississippi, because that's one of my favorite places to go. I go to Clarksdale, and I'll sing down there. All of that costs money, and it's a networking opportunity. I'm sure you know about this. I go network. I don't have a label out there pushing my CDs. I'm pushing my CDs. Not out the trunk of my car, but out the back of my Chevy tracks. I don't regret not one thing. Like I said, thank you. God bless all these new fans. Really, really, I feel touched. John and I are thankful. We wake up, we pray every morning, and we're thankful. And I'm even praying for Lady Antebellum, that God would soften their hearts and open their ears, that they would be honest about their allyship. If that's really what you want to do, if Black lives really do matter to you, remember, I didn't say it. So all you haters that keep saying I'm racist, I didn't say that. Lady Antebellum said it. They brought race into it. But I'm not about to let you walk over my people ever again. You picked the wrong one you got with me, because I'm already an activist. And I see this happening all the time, and it's what I fight. So even if I have to stand alone, but I'm not, because I'm here to change the world, and I'm not by myself.
Right. And it's good to hear that you're not by yourself and that other people are supporting you within the artist community as well. I certainly am heartened to hear that. And I guess this question may also be to John again, but obviously, Lady A, you may find that you may want to answer this. And John, if you don't want to answer this, I completely understand. Is there a possibility that you are or may have to change the name? I mean, I hate to even bring that up because it's an uncomfortable subject potentially, but has there been, and again, if you don't want to answer that, you're absolutely free not to, but is there a possibility that might have to happen?
And I would have to, I'm not going to change my name. If I do, it's going to be, John, you better answer that one. I have to be quiet sometimes. I'm telling you, Omar.
No, Lady A, you're absolutely right. Because Omar, I believe this. I've been on Lady A for decades, and it's one thing that I've literally got to watch her build her brand from the ground up. And at first, even though Lady A said I'm not changing my name, she was open for coexisting, right? Now, when they didn't give us the details of what that would look like, then Lady A said, well, listen, if you are going to keep the name Lady A, you need to pay me to rebrand, which is another alternative to them bringing her in-house under their record label. Because, you think about it. Their record label and their management have all these resources to help artists build a brand. That's what we were telling them. And so what we said is, listen, since you're not going to be open to that suggestion, you know what, just give her the money so that she can do it with her own resources, get all the consulting she needs, all the attorneys, this, that, and the other. Let her rebrand herself. Just give her this X amount of dollars, right? Now, she was open then when we were negotiating. But what Lady Antebellum and their team did is they were like, basically they said they took the contract, ripped it up, and said, we're just going to file suit against her. Now, what that did is, listen, that took those negotiations off the table. So I believe where Lady A is now, no, you're not getting the name at all because it's her name. She's used it since 1987 as a karaoke singer and probably even before then. Listen, Lady Antebellum, this is just me talking now. Lady Antebellum, I don't know who's advising them. We know who their attorney is for the corporate part of Lady Antebellum, but I don't know who their friends and their little close circle is. But whoever they have in their close circle needs to tell them, listen, you need to just change your name and publicly apologize to the real Lady A. Right? That would solve all of this. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to take it a step further since it's me talking. They need to get on a plane, fly up and meet the real Lady A at a public location and publicly apologize to the whole world. You know what I'm saying? And just lavish her with gifts and just all kinds of stuff. That's what they right?
And for those of you who can't see, Lady A just put on a face mask. I forgot. It says right. I am the real Lady A. Exactly. And the other question before I get into one other topic or so with you, and again, thank you very much for your time. Again, John, one thing I do want to ask. As an attorney myself, the issue of trademarking, again, this may not be something that you want to say much about or talk about or discuss. Is the name trademarked? Do you know if it is trademarked or not? And does that matter in this case, given what you have just explained?
So, you know what, Omar, we're fortunate that we have Cooley LLP representing Lady A, and we have a great team, because Cooley is well known throughout the world. So we have great trademark attorneys and copyright attorneys, and we have people ready to do this. But you know what? The interesting thing I think about this case, this is just me personally talking, is that it's playing out now in the public atmosphere. You know, social media is just in the public's eyes. Listen, even if no one knew Lady A personally or Lady Antebellum, there are people who are reading this case that on an intellectual property basis, they're like, oh, this looks really amazing, right? So the facts say this: Lady A, the real Lady A, has been using this name professionally, right, since well before Lady Antebellum was even born. So just for those facts right there, you have this independent artist who's built this brand since 1987. She's been using Lady A as her stage name to sell certain CDs and T-shirts and this, that, and the other, well before this Lady Antebellum even got a registered copyright with the Patent and Trademark Office, right? I mean, so that, even just on those facts alone, right, I think some intellectual property attorneys would just, their heads would explode, right? Because it's interesting. It's very interesting.
The other thing is they didn't trademark Lady A until June 9th, which was 2 days before the story broke.
June of this year?
Of this year. So they knew that I was there. Whoever, and because I said, whoever you have searching for names, they need to be fired. Because they knew I was there.
Right.
They didn't care. They thought that I was irrelevant. Like so many of us, they think we are irrelevant. They're making it harder than it has to be. Change your name. You're the ones who said that Black Lives Matter. So if you change your name completely, we all walk away. It's business as usual. Thank you so much for the great press, and we all go about our business.
Right.
If their fans love them, their fans love them. If I change my name tomorrow, my fans are going to love me. But I owe my community an explanation for changing my name. Because by allowing privilege to take my name, I'm not going to allow you to take it.
Absolutely.
You're not going to take it from me. You're not going, and I'm not going to share it with you. You said Black Lives Matter. If you had never said that, I probably wouldn't have let you stand on. But you said that, so I'm going to hold you accountable to it. Either come out and say, you know what? Sorry, American public. the name is racist, but we're going to keep it anyway. Come out and say that and apologize to Black, Indigenous people of this land and people of color. Come out and apologize to us. Tell us your name is racist. If you're racist, you can have it.
Right. No,
I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to hold you accountable for what you said.
Absolutely.
Omar, this is one question that we did pose when we were in private discussions. We did ask them, what would you all do if the tables were turned? What would you all expect if, say, Lady A was the artist who had sold over 10 million albums, and she suddenly approached you all as this little independent, group? What if the tables were turned and she changed her name to, say, whatever you guys' band was? And, they never answered that. I mean, that's the golden rule, right? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I mean, so Omar, listen, we've presented so many different options for them. We tried our very best. Lady A, our brother Dexter Allen, we really tried, even without getting the attorneys involved, right? We tried, but there was never any transparency. That's a word they tried to use in their press statement, and that's a word that we gave them. We gave them that word, transparency. We said, put the word transparency in there because, Omar, from our point of view, Lady A, our brother Dexter Allen, and myself, we were very transparent. All three of us were trying to give them solution after solution after solution of how this would work. Our brother Dexter Allen even said this. Listen, Dexter Allen, if people don't know him, they should look his music up. But Dexter said, what happened is there was a man who had committed some horrible crimes. And so when people searched on the internet, when they looked for Dexter Allen, this guy who had committed these horrible crimes, his name came up. And so Dexter had to get the algorithms changed so that when people searched that, his name would come up. And so we even presented that to them. How would the algorithms look on Google? Because Omar, think about this. When you say, Alexa, play Lady A's playlist, Alexa's confused more than ever now. Because what she'll do is she's going to play Lady Antebellum's playlist instead of the real Lady A's. Speaking of the real Lady A, that's an option we even gave them. The real Lady A, right? How about doing that? How about helping just change the algorithm so that, Lady A is now the real Lady A and you guys are something else?
They had no intention of helping.
Right.
That's their whole thing. They didn't want to help me any more than they had to. They wanted me to come do the dance, the song and dance with them. And that was their idea of helping. That would have been their idea of helping as an ally. Come do the song and dance and make us look woke. You know what I really want to say? Song and dance. I'm saying song and dance. But that's what they wanted me to do. And I wasn't about to do that. And so when it came to, well, dang, she's not really rolling over like we want her to, let's get on a call with them. Like I'm supposed to be impressed. I wasn't impressed by that. I'm more impressed by people who stand by their word, tell the truth. Even if it's the truth that I don't want to hear, tell me so that I know where I stand with you. But when you come at me and I know you're lying to me, and you continue to lie, and it's not just me, like I said, that $10 million I asked for, I'm worth more. So all you people out there who think that you're not worth $10 million, that's on you. I'm worth 10, but I was only going to get 5 because I'm thinking of more than myself. There are other people out there. Black Lives Matter because they said it.
Yeah, absolutely.
My seniors and my youth people, and then all the artists across the country that need legal help. I'm blessed that Cooley LLP is taking my case on pro bono. I am blessed in everything that has happened since June 11th has all been because God has placed me here. So if you think I'm getting ready to move, it ain't getting ready to happen.
Wow. No, I completely hear where you're coming from because as you alluded to earlier, this has been happening to Black artists from time immemorial, with white artists appropriating or white music producers appropriating and taking royalties. All of the great Black artists have been ripped off from sunup to sundown for decades. And we can be here for another half hour talking about all the artists that's happened to.
We have another interview to get to, but I just want to leave you with this, Omar. It's our lives, our Black lives names, our experiences, our culture, our language, our music, they all matter to us. Sometimes Betty LaVette tweeted, and she said, and God bless her, and her and Margot Price. Margot Price said that they need to come have me sing at the Grand Ole Opry. That's an ally. That's somebody who stood up and was brave in what they said, defending a person of color, a black woman. They were defending me. Betty LaVette said, sometimes, all we have is our name. I'm not going to let you take my name.
I want
We have all black people.
And I know time is short, so I think that is a great place to leave things. I want to also ask you to give everybody your website address, please.
Thank you. So you can reach me if you want to get a CD, and we are updating it. You get a CD by going to LadyABabyBlues.com. That's LadyABabyBlues.com. If you are if you want to be an ally to Black people, Indigenous people of this land, and people of color, please go to thetruthisloud.info. Get information there. You can download our new single, The Truth is Loud. Thank you so much, Omar, for the interview. We really appreciate it. God bless you.
Thank you so much. And to you too, John Oliver III. Lady A, all the best with all of this. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining me today on the Politicrat podcast. Take care now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to this edition of the Politicrat. I'm Omar Moore.